Welcome to Game Time, presented by Kia. Greg Anthony here in place of Chris Webber, along with the Hall of Famers Isaiah Thomas and Kevin McHale. And before we get to our guys, we're going to send you over to the guys who called the game, Steve Smith and Candace Parker, to break down the Thunder victory over the Portland Trailblazers. Smitty, guys, take it away.
Thanks, GA. What a game we got a chance to see, Candace, and we get a chance to go through these highlights and see what happened. It was toe for toe, tit for tat, blow for blow. You love this one, Candace?
Oh, I love this because this game was a regular season game, but it seemed like a playoff atmosphere. These teams are fighting for something.
Let's start off. Russell Westbrook gets it out to Paul George as he knocked down the three. And Damian Lillard with the up and under. What a play by him with the reverse layup. As you can see, the score 23-23. Paul George now getting a chance to show us his one-on-one skill. He knocks this one down. And then we'll have the backcourt partner of Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, gets it out to Dame. Dame knocks down the big three, 47-42, and then Russell Westbrook. What a pass, Candace, to Terrence Ferguson.
Well, early on in the game, Russell Westbrook was doing a great job of facilitating, and that opened up lanes, and he knocked down his shot as the game went on.
Don't back him up and knock down a little pull-up. Second quarter, as you can see, scramble. Look at Paul George.
And that's
nice.
What they did all night. No easy layups, no easy dunks. OKC played one of the best defensive halves of basketball that I've seen this season.
We get to the second half. Take me through this second half by C.J. McCollum, Candace.
Well, early on, he was hitting his three-point shot. Started out 5 for 6 from three-point lane, in which opened up lanes for him to get going towards the basket. You saw them get him in a backdoor situation, and he finished at the rim.
Yes, he did. And look at Russell Westbrook showing off a little bit against Nurkic and letting him have it. No, he didn't. A little bit of, I don't know if that's a sham guy, but I'm going to call that the Russell right now. Still, Paul George, how many did he have, Candace?
He had 5.
Oh, and they took off. Paul George, what a dunk. And there's Damian Lillard, 107, 101. I don't know how he got that one up.
And that's the thing with Dame. When he gets going downhill towards the baseline, he's a tough guard because he can facilitate as well as finish at the rim.
Hanging in the air and off the glass with nice English by Russell Westbrook. And again, still, lazy pass by Nurkic, took the bump. Paul George, and he finished 117-108. The defense has been fantastic. And now down the stretch, there's Russell Westbrook with a nice one.
But that was a play ran by OKC, a double screen by Steven Adams, and Paul George opens up the lane for Russell Westbrook to take flight.
And as you can see, another big-time rebound. And
He hurt the rim on that one.
It was a little evil, and the Thunder take this one 123-114 as we see the scores. Big-time scoring from Leonard, McCollum, and Nurkic. They didn't get much for the others. 5 players in double figures. I think they ended up with 6 players in double figures for this game, Candace.
Well, I mean, if you see, one of the statistics that wasn't seen on this side is the 16 steals that the Thunder had, tied a season high, and that's what it was the entire night. It was those intangibles that didn't show up on the stat sheet.
And this was a good one. This will be the game of the day for NBA TV, and we're going to throw it out to 3D Candace, our other partner who caught up with Paul George. Here's a tweet. Look at this. I love this. Every time a player says players only. Boy, 3D, what a fantastic job. What a season we had. Candace, rookie getting a chance to work. We're missing our partner, GA.
We are.
We had to step up over there, but wonderful season. Everybody upstairs, Bert Bondy, Dora Marshall, everybody here. It was fun. Fantastic season.
No, it was a great rookie season for me. My vets didn't treat me too bad. Brought a couple donuts and,
no, you didn't.
some coffee,
when?
some vino.
Okay, there you go. You did. But we had a good time. Back to you, GA.
Guys, thanks. It has been an incredible run thus far in terms of players only here on NBA TV, but there was also a little breaking news that Adrian Wojnarowski came out with. Memphis seriously considering moving one of their franchise players, Mike Conley Jr. or Marc Gasol. They have made it known that those two guys are on the block.
Yeah, and I think Conley can help somebody, and I know those salaries both are very hefty. I don't know if Memphis will be able to get back what they're looking for by trading both those guys. However, if Conley gets with the right team, you know, that he can be a game changer in terms of putting a team over the top with his play, particularly a team that's close to trying to break through in terms of getting to the Eastern Conference Finals or getting to the finals. He can definitely, if he joins one of the right teams, he can definitely take one of those teams there.
No question. Both those guys can play on good teams because both those guys at any given night can be the fourth or fifth option and not bother them at all and still be effective. You know, as a fourth, fifth option, they still get 12, 13 points. You know, Gasol can get 8, 9 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists, and be fine with it. The problem is that, you know, I'm not sure. Memphis is going to want draft choices back, really high draft choices. Yeah. Memphis will want young talent back. I just don't know if there's going to be a team that's going to fit.
It's almost like they made this decision too late.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, because I just don't know who's going to fit the mold of a really young team. These guys don't fit with really young teams that are rebuilding. They fit with really good teams that have a chance to win, and the really good teams that have a chance to win just don't seem to have the assets that you think Memphis would want. So they're kind of in a tough spot, but I like both these guys. Both these guys are pros. Both these guys are professionals. I'm more lean towards Conley than I do. I think Gasol, he can still pass, he can still play the perimeter, make shots, but defensively wise, the league is kind of changing away from the bigger centers like the more active guys are more effective right now. But I like them both.
Both are talented, no doubt about it. It'd be interesting to see how this one plays out in terms of whether or not they end up with the Grizzlies when this season is done. Stick around for a little more game time. When we come back, the Raptors looking to continue getting it done up north. Going on in Oklahoma City as we get ready for this battle. DZ?
Well, guys, first of all, it's a little chilly here in OKC. I don't know what the weather is back
It's
in
cold
Atlanta.
here, too.
It's cold there, too?
Cold, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So that being said, hopefully the cold weather stays outside the arena because OKC Thunder is playing better defense. That slipped a little bit. Paul George playing at an MVP level. And you talked about Dame Lillard and C.J. McCollum. Now we have to talk about Nurkic. He's playing better basketball. You're just talking to some of the guys as they're warming up. Nurkic is tired of people saying who's the third guy for Portland. So it should be a good ball game tonight.
It really should. And, you know, you look at this Thunder team, all the talk coming in was how great they'd been defensively, but that's not been the case here of late for this group, DZ. What's the thought process with how they're playing on that side of the ball?
Well, they understand that teams have come into their building and shot the ball with confidence. The first team that comes to mind the other night when the Los Angeles Lakers came in here and played lights-out basketball with Kyle Kuzma shooting the three and getting anywhere on the floor like he wanted to. So they realize teams are going to come in and give them their best shot. They need to regroup. Guys off the bench understand when they come in, they got to lock down and play good team defense. But no panic. I say it again, no panic because a guy named Paul George is playing really, really good.
You know, 3D, they going up against a great backcourt tonight when you talk about Lillard and McCollum. What strategy do you think they will implement tonight defensively to try to slow those two guys down?
Well, try to keep them off the three-point line. And when they split the double team, Isaiah, you know this, you're one of the best to ever do it. When they split that double team, make sure those big guys step up in the lane like Kevin McHale used to do. And not so much block the shot, but deter the shot and try to get some of those shooting percentages to come down. Because we know you're not going to stop them all night long. We want them to work for every shot they get tonight.
You know, Dennis, what I want you to do is go tell Adams that Nurkic wants to have a big game tonight because I want to see what Adams does to him. I look at OKC, and I think Adams just really, when he's playing well, he's defensive rebounding, he's offensive rebounding, but he's really clogging the paint and just helping recover. Talk to me a little bit about Adams and Adams' ability to really help that OKC defense.
Well, I think Paul George has done an excellent job, guys, believe it or not, throwing the ball down low to your point, K-Mac, to Steven Adams. Just let him touch it. He doesn't always try to shoot the basketball because he's a great passer out of the mid-post. So sometimes let the big guy eat a little bit. He sets better screens. He defends more for you, and now you can get out and run and get easy baskets.
So 3D, is it raining out there? Is it snowing? Because we just saw a shot of Adams walking in.
Yeah. He looked like the abominable.
Yeah, it was raining. Yes,
Who was that guy?
It was raining earlier. It stopped raining, but man, I cannot lie. I didn't bring my big coat. I brought my southern coat. I'm chilly.
Man, you can get up under his coat.
Hold on. That's the kind of guy when you're walking down the street, you see him coming, you go to the other side of the street.
You're going to take off running.
Who is that guy?
All right, DT, we're going to check back in with you a little bit later. Let's talk a little bit more, guys, about this Thunder team. Because, you know, when the season started, they probably had as many question marks as anybody after how the season ended a season ago. But defensively, they were a juggernaut for quite a while. But then now it seems like they've hit a stretch where defense has not been their calling card. Do you see them returning to that? And also, do you guys see them as a legit contender in that Western Conference?
You know, I was one of the guys early in preseason. I wasn't sure if OKC, in thinking that the West would be as tough as it is, with Russell missing games, with Westbrook missing games early in the season, I didn't know if they would fall so far behind that they wouldn't be able to make up the games. However, you know, you got to give Billy Donovan a lot of credit because he and Paul George and that group, they did a great job of holding down the fort. And when Russ came back, they just took off. So, you know, I like where they are defensively, and I think there's so much room to grow and improve for the OKC Thunder.
Yeah, I tell you what, when they're playing good defense, they're switching to deny the passes. When they're not playing good defense, they're laying back off it. And, you know, we get a switch down here. You know how hard it is when guys can fly off switches. You're uptight, you're denying, you're getting a hand in. They get deflections, they get steals when they're doing that. What I've seen lately a little bit is they've been a little bit more passive on the defensive end, allowing those passes to flow freely on the perimeter. I just think when they're up pressuring, they're a much better team. So we'll see tonight if they get back to pressure, how many deflections, how many steals. And the reason that I'm believing in this team, you asked, you know, where can they go into playoffs? When you can score off your defense, that gives you such a big bounce, especially in the playoffs when scoring becomes at a premium. When you can get 4 or 5 of those deflections for runouts and get yourself 12, 14, 15 points off those deflections and steals, that's huge. And so I'm believing in this team. Favorite thing about, you know, the OKC lately is that Russell Westbrook is not pressing his offense. He's not having those 6 for 30 games. He was 6 for 12 last night.
Yeah.
Damn near had a triple-double, had 10 rebounds, 9 assists. And when you can control the game by taking 12 shots, you are a basketball player. You're not a numbers correct.
Yeah, and that used to always be the judge of if your point guard is really controlling the game by, you know, how many shot attempts he has to take or doesn't take. And the average was about, if you took 12 to 15 shots a night and you can control the game that way and you have your imprint on the assist box, you're sharing the basketball, that's when you knew you were doing, you know, a great job. And then guys like Magic would come along and they control the game with 4 shots. Yeah. and you would be like, hey, we're not even talking about you tonight, Magic. You know, you're in a totally different category. But that's what Westbrook is doing. And not only that, he's also accepted the challenge of becoming a better defender. This is the first time I've ever heard him really talk about becoming an elite defender as opposed to being an elite offensive player. And when you have he and Paul George as 2 elite defenders on your team, you got a chance to beat anybody.
And, you know, wrapping up on Westbrook, he's not getting those 3 or 4 extra layups he got a game because, you know, your shooting percentage looks a hell of a lot better when you're beating everybody and you're getting 4 or 5, 6 layups at the rim. He's not getting those right now. I don't know if he's just doesn't quite have the explosiveness he had or whatever. You know, he's such a freakish athlete, but he's just not getting those shots. And so those always make your shooting percentage look a hell of a lot better.
And do you guys think, though, big picture, this is a team that doesn't shoot the 3 well, although they were terrific in their last game, shot 52% from beyond, made 15. But along with Westbrook and this group, do they shoot it well enough, though, to where they can really put some fear in some of those elite teams in that Western Conference once we get to the postseason?
If the right people are shooting, if Abrinas can come back and get healthy, he's a good shooter for him. Paul George makes his share of threes, you know, shoots a decent percentage from the 3-point line. I'd like to see them add another shooter. But again, you know, to me, the 3, it's all relative to who's shooting it. If you have 20% shooters shooting a lot of threes, you're going to be a lousy 3-point shooting team. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of math to figure that out. And sometimes they have the wrong people shooting the threes. If they have the right people shooting the threes, put them in the right position, you got some drive, you got some kick going out. Yeah, I'd like to see them add another shooter. I really would. You know, I think it just fills out their roster. But again, you know, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. San Antonio has the right people shooting threes. And they don't shoot a bunch of them, but they make a bunch of them. They make a high percentage of what they shoot. I think OKC's got to have a little bit of some of that. That being said, I'd like to see them trade for a shooter if they could.
I agree with Kevin. I do think that at some point in time during this period, they have to seek out a three-point shooter to add to the roster. But that shooter's got to be able to defend also.
Yes.
He just can't be a guy that's a specialist that knocks down shots. He's got to be able to defend on both ends so they can play him and keep him in the game.
Yep.
And I also think that shot selection is extremely important. And what I'm seeing with OKC right now is their shot selection has become much better. And if they continue to have good shot selection, then they'll be okay.
Okay, and speaking of selection, I'm going to select this moment to give a shout out to my kids. My daughter Naomi and my son Tyson are watching with big fans. And also interact with all of us here socially at NBA TV.
Not
myself, Nick Ray Anthony 50, at Isaiah Thomas, and at Kevin McHale. Just try it. You never know. Somebody probably has that account right now.
The problem is it's that actor, and they keep on mistaking me for some 4'11" actor. And I'm like, that is not me. I promise you. I'm 6'11".
All right.
You get mistaken for the